Alan, so good to see you, my
Hey,
friend.
Gene. Oh, man, can you see me, hear me?
I can see you. Your volume's a little low, but I'm going to take all the blame for this, my friend. I am so sorry.
No, don't. I was the one running late. It actually ended up being probably like right at showtime. I was jumping out of the shower and I was like, oh my God. And then we didn't have the link set up. And then we're having a storm here. So the whole thing's just kind of been under the weather here today. But
Wow.
we're on Elon's favorite Starlink. So you know how that can go sometimes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you've got a better microphone, or maybe you can get a little closer to the mic, it just seems a little faint on my end. I don't know what the crowd thinks, but I can hear them clapping that they're glad you're here, so they don't have to listen to me ramble anymore.
I'm going to go onto your other show.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to try and yell. How about that?
That's good. No, that's good, man. That is great. That is great. Well, first of all, thanks for setting this up. Thanks for this idea, and Happy New Year to you and your beautiful bride and your son.
Well, thank you. I'm really looking forward to this coming year. It's going to be one of those, hurry up and wait crypto years again, as the way we're starting. But I'm really excited about some of the things that we all have coming in front of us. But I'm really, at this point, thinking to myself, what's most important? Crypto or family? Right today, family. My family and all the people that I work with are so much better off today than they were a year ago. And that's really what I want to focus on, is how much better off we all are. I know the retail price isn't what we all want it to be, and I get all that. But right now, my relationship with my wife and my son are the most important things, and my lovely dogs, which thank you for the hospitality over the summer. Rob is a champion and let us put our puppies in his backyard, and they made a mess of the place, but it was a lot of fun. We got to do it together. Yeah, it was great.
I loved having you, brother. Loved seeing your wife. The puppies are beautiful. So conscientious to drive all the way around the country from California to Florida and back to make sure that those beautiful dogs got a perfect family that would love on them and take care of them. So I know you spent a lot of time and effort. You were still working while you were taking care of those dogs, but that was cool. Thank you for spending a night with me and getting to have some quality time together.
That was a blast. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. Great.
Okay,
great.
Good. That was such a blast. That whole trip was 2 weeks of just, it was crazy to go through a process like that with your dogs and puppies, but the whole thing, just driving across this great country, meeting all the people that follow our channels and the blessings that they all shared with us, and meeting for lunch with different people and different meetups along the way. And five people that adopted a puppy. We've stayed in touch. We've gotten some Christmas photos from some of the puppies. It's just it's something that joined our whole community, and it was a lot of fun, and looking forward to doing more of those kind of things. Not necessarily puppies, but yeah, many other things. I was told about a fantastic Christmas Day event that was at, Mr. Rob's house. And I was so tempted to be there. You can't even believe, I was like saying to myself, I'm at one of these Christmas days, I'm just going to knock on the man's door and he's not going to believe I'm standing there. I just can't wait. Yeah.
We'll have the food for you, brother. I can promise you that. We will definitely have the food ready. And wow. No, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
it was our 20th year in a row. It's just for the audience to know, when my girls were very young, my wife and I had this crazy idea that, after they wake up at 5:45 in the morning, rip open all the presents by 6:30, now what do they do? So every other parent and their kids are probably doing the same thing. Why don't we do this? Why don't we have everybody come over for breakfast? The kids can share their toys and play together. The adults can play over a Bloody Mary and a mimosa and a big egg casserole and some French toast. And we'll just open up the house and let everybody show up in their pajamas, come as they are. Just do it's a 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. brunch. And so we started that about 20 years ago, and it's just now, if we tried to end it, there would be death threats put out on us.
Yeah. No, don't end it. No, whatever you do. Oh, so I mean, it just reminds me of when we were younger. We did a lot of those things with our friends and families, and it seems like we've gotten away from a lot of that. In particular, we kind of live out in the middle of nowhere. So for us, Elizabeth and I spent the day with our kids, which are the four-legged kids, and we have 4 of them. So it was a handful, but I would love to get out there one day. It just, as soon as you told me about the whole event, I thought, I already pictured myself being there. I was like, I'm there. I'm breakfast, brunch all day. Yeah, mimosas. We don't drink anymore, but we like to be around people that are festive, for sure. So yeah, that's fun.
Well, brother, before you jumped on, I want to bring you up to speed on one of the things that, from a filler standpoint, I'd posted just before we went on live at 5 o'clock, and that was about the scope and scale of this Minnesota fraud. And my crazy brain, this is how I connect dots. Okay, it was like, all right, if what's their size of their revenue? It's about $70 billion, and they were talking about $9 billion in fraud. It's about 12 to 13%. What if there was a 12 to 13% fraud at the Federal Reserve? How big is that? Well, the Federal Reserve is not just federal; it's global liquidity, it's FX, it's credit lines, it's everything. It's 130 trillion to 200 trillion dollars a year, 13%.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Let's add 3 things together. What if the Minnesota child care fraud was in all 50 states? What if we had the same 12 to 13% fraud rate at the Federal Reserve System in 195 countries? What if we had $22 trillion from some president who everybody seems to hate bringing in new tariff revenues? What would a positive 21 trillion and a negative $150 trillion in fraud, would that solve our financial problems, Alan?
No, of course not.
No.
But it's a nice start.
No, I think it would end it, wouldn't it? I think we'd be pretty debt free.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think if the fact that people do not want opacity, clarity, atomic settlement, and accountability is the whole tell. That is the tell, Alan. Anyone dare speak truth to these narcissistic control freaks, they get the wrath of those who must operate in the dark.
No, it's so true. When you look at their work and you judge a man by his work, and the whole thing is smoke and mirrors, they can't really even reflect back on what a great job they've done, because they really haven't done anything other than create digits out of nothing, which have no value. And they just tell us it has value.
Let me interrupt you for a second. I just got a comment that says, hey, you're not live on YouTube. So you need to look up there on your stream, and you can click a button and choose X or Rumble or YouTube or whatever. And all of a sudden this will start going out to your audiences, and we'll attract more eyeballs.
I'm pretty sure we did link that.
Did you? Okay. Well, that was at 5:33. I got, let's see. Somebody, Felix Forbes says, hey, you're not live on YouTube, Alan.
Okay. All right.
I'm just repeating the news.
Yeah. Let me make sure that's where we're
You know what? It might be a different link. You may have put your link on YouTube instead of mine.
Yeah, we did.
You might, and if you can, maybe you could just repost this link.
Yeah. I may have to do that. We'll just have it in my on my channel later. It may not be live.
We want everyone that's listening to this show right now to understand that there's not a single job being threatened in Hollywood with me or Alan being technical producers or
You know what's weird, Rob? I never have problems like this ever. No, and I'm not even being sarcastic. I never have problems. So I just, oh yeah, no problem. I'll just jump on the show at the last minute. But yeah, today that didn't work out.
Well, obviously, you've just thrown me under the bus, because if you never have problems, we're having problems, then it must be me.
No.
Let's see.
I'm gonna get.
Becky says you are not live. So,
Oh, not good.
yeah.
Let's see.
I'm going to put in this group new link for Alan's channels coming shortly.
Yeah, I've got that working out.
All right.
So we had to do this with 2 different
laptops. Put that on the
laptops.
screen right there. New link for Alan's coming shortly.
There you go. We had to put the other laptop not crashed, but wasn't ready to go. So we had to change laptops, and that's why the sound's bad on this one and everything else. So I think what happened is the live show is on the other laptop.
Okay.
I got my best employee on it. Beautiful and talented employee on that one. Yeah.
Well, Alan, I got a question for you. If you were to put your finger on the number one pivotal, most seminal, historical or timeless event that actually took place in 2025, what would that be?
Gosh, boy, we should have rehearsed this. I've got a few of them actually, but I'll start with the big one. The one that starts tomorrow? I think the Genius Act. I think we're going to look back and we're going to say that was the day that our Treasury in the long run saw the future of what they're going to do with the US dollar, in particular within the homeland of the United States. And it's going to bring a different value around the world. I'm pretty sure, I'm not positive, that the whole world is going to want to own US treasuries. And the way they're going to do that is going to do that through stablecoins. And that becomes legal for all sanctions to play with starting tomorrow, right? So that's going to be big. I don't think they're going to have to play salesperson any longer with US treasuries to places, I don't know, like the Federal Reserve. They're going to actually be able to place treasury to any human being in the world that wants to obtain the value of the US dollar and not lose value through inflation to their own currency. So why wouldn't everybody want to be part of that? That could be down the road. We're going to look back at that day and say, holy smokes, this is like bigger than, and the vision that it takes to have that looking forward. This takes us back 150 years in our country. Sorry about that. It takes us back 150 years in our country to where our Treasury had more control, tariffs, all the rest of it, over what happened to the US dollar. And then that very terrible day of 1913 happened. I got a dog back here is driving me crazy. That's Dad, by the way. That's the dad who's decided he's going to chase the cat now in the middle of the show. So anyway, Elizabeth, help! But we're hang on a second.
I'm going to bet of the 1,035 listeners, 1,032 of them are dog lovers, so they understand. Folks, I put in the chat here the link to this broadcast from my StreamYard studio. So if you see that others don't know how to join us, or for whatever reason we screwed things up with our different social media platforms, please look in the chat group here and share it out there. We got a little Deb and DFW has a little little competing answer for you there, Mr. Allen, and she thinks it's the big beautiful bill.
Okay.
So there are so many things, so many epic things. But to your point, Alan, the definition of stablecoin will have to be the same in all 195 countries, and whether you're America, Apple, Amazon, or Azerbaijan or Argentina, what is a stable coin will have to be a stable coin for it to function with kind of ISO 20022 standards, right? One-to-one collateral. It's got to be a tier one asset that backs the issuance of that coin that's stable in value.
Mhm.
And so the fact that I want to agree with you, the fact that not only has the DTCC recognized XRP as collateral, but XRP is that bridging mechanism that lets that stable coin go across the network for almost free and with perfect transparency, the highest standards of clarity and atomic settlement. And as much as I don't like Mr. Larry Fink for many reasons, I think the one statement that he makes it's so good is it's like an instant deed transfer system. The minute something closes, now I own it or you own it. There is no gap. There is no fungibility. There is no fat fingers and sticky fingers and arbitrage of your title or arbitrage of your capital or arbitrage of fees that you don't know. There aren't any hidden hands in a tokenized system with atomic settlement and a stable coin. They don't have the time or the gap to steal.
Nope. And we have to look back at the history of the dollar, and we have to say what's happened to it since 1913. And you have to ask yourself, how do we stop the bleeding without creating more and more and more debt? To reply back to, yeah, I love the big beautiful bill. There's a lot about that I really like, but it's more can down the road. You're not changing the intrinsic value of a US dollar by that bill at all. And what you need to do really is you need to find a way to get that group from Jekyll Island out of your hair and out of the control of the global money. And the only way you can do that is through lack of allowing them to control the values of markets. And the best way to do that is to put the control and the value of every single dollar and the backing of every single treasury in the hands of the people of the world. That's my opinion. You have to get it out of the control of the banks, and you have to get it into the control of all the people of the planet. Because okay, yeah. The dogs are chasing the cat too, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
So anyway, I hope that answered the question. Sorry about all the distraction. It's a rainy day, and I have all the cats and all the dogs in the house because nobody wants to go out and play in the rain. So,
well, Alan, I just saw a couple of comments that some people said some people don't have X channels. So I put in the chat group that there is a link that can be shared across any social media platform. So
yeah,
whether you can share this out on Rumble or Truth or TikTok or YouTube or anywhere you want to, Instagram, anywhere you want to share this link that we've just put in the chat group, please feel free to share it, and that will allow. I mean, people can come from a web browser directly to this StreamYard channel, even if they don't have a social media account, and watch this program. So
we're having an issue because on my channel we're only getting my feed, we're not getting yours, so that's a bit of an issue.
You might want to just close down your channel, and then that way, and then maybe redirect everyone.
That way, close my channel down. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, we'll just close that channel down, and I'll do a show later with everybody.
Well, we've got 1,100. We have 1,141 viewers. I'm looking at right now, so I don't know. Is the same count on yours?
Probably. Yeah. That sounds about right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds about right. So let's get back into this. What do you think, Rob? I'm going to hit you with a question. What do you think was the biggest event of 2025?
The official recognition of the great disruptor taking office again.
Oh, that's big. Yeah.
Without that catalyst, everything else is theoretical and not necessarily operational. Whether you like the man or not is, in my book, kind of irrelevant, because the one that there's never been a CEO, there's never been a builder, there's never been an architect, there's never been a practitioner of the caliber with the relationship equity and the skill set to actually, you can have 10,000 great ideas. If you can't put them to work, it doesn't much matter. If you don't have the chutzpah, if you don't have the relationship equity, if you don't have the vision, if you don't have the patience, if you don't have the courage to take all the slings and arrows, and if you're not doing what this gentleman is doing, not for pleasure, not for comfort, not for fun, obviously for purpose.
Agreed.
Now, all are free to disagree with his purpose or cast aspersions or believe he's doing it just to get rich, because obviously he didn't have enough money and his wife's not pretty enough or whatever. If that's what you have to do to mentally stimulate and reconcile your inability to understand what a unique figure in global history that this man is, then I can't help you. No. But unless people are willing to humble themselves enough to put into context what having one and only one CEO to ever sit in that White House in 250 years and see the nature of the hate and vitriol that comes at this man. In a post earlier today, all the noise and all the yelling and all the screaming and all the impatience, it doesn't prove one side is right or wrong. No. All it proves is that lawfare is taking place.
That's right.
The division's taking place. It doesn't prove, well, by God, I haven't seen arrests, so therefore nothing's happening. XRP is not at $49, so this has all been a scam.
I know, yeah.
All of these comments that are rooted in lack of context, lack of patience, or ego or fear,
right,
are just that. That doesn't make them true. It just makes it kind of is more of a reveal as to what's in our heart, mind, and soul, instead of what's actually happening in the real world.
I completely agree. Yeah, it's not every day that a man comes along that one of the most interesting things that I think day one when it was announced about the tariffs, I've been begging for tariffs since the first time I heard about them. I don't know, that was right before, I think he was even in campaign in 2015 that I heard him talking about it. And then when you look back at the video of him 30 years ago talking about tariffs, and you just mentioned the patience and the understanding and the knowledge and the vision. That's what you just explained. He had that vision and that knowledge 30 years ago. He knew it would work then. He knew everything he's doing now would work. And it is. And the first go round was, well, I think that was really just to figure out who all the rats were. And how do I decipher my way around this whole thing we call Washington, D.C.? And then what's happening now is it's his last term. He doesn't have anything else to worry. It's not in a popularity contest, clearly. But it is amazing how the global respect from all the leaders around the world are looking at that man like, well, this isn't like the last few presidents. I'm not sure what to think of it exactly. But I know this, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to take respect, and I'm going to take a stance of respect and understanding that, well, America's back to some degree. Again, whether or not you agree with any of the things that he believes in or what he's pushing for, those are irrelevant to the fact that he's trying to do something better for his country. And if you don't get that, if you just hate him because you have derangement syndrome, that's fine. That you're welcome to have that. You don't like his hair or his skin color, or he's got 3 wives or whatever it might be, right? But if you're looking for somebody to run your company or to win you a football game, you don't care about the personality. The best coaches have ever lived, Lombardi or whoever you want to talk about, like they were SOBs because they have to be. I'm a boat captain. Sometimes I gotta wear the black hat.
Bobby Knight and the Hoosiers like to play basketball, didn't they?
Exactly the point. And people don't. Only people that have succeeded in life respect that view. In other words, if I've worked hard, I've seen somebody guide me who did it through walk of life and by example, did that with his children, did that with his life, did that with his companies and his business, and now he's doing it for a nation state. Only somebody who doesn't understand the values of that would look down upon a person like that because of his personality clash with them. That's sad, but that's the reality. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah, it really is. And it reminds me, Alan, of kind of the philosophical, the quantum genius and the quantum intelligence of this scripture book, that I like to call the law book. It talks about how my people are destroyed for their lack of knowledge. And if we don't know who we are, we do get destroyed, and if we don't understand the laws and principles of how this place works, then we get taken advantage of through deception and division and destruction and devouring. And, it's the onus is on us to basically understand this colony that we're living on. There's some good guys, there are good principalities and bad principalities.
Yeah.
And if we don't seek to seek to understand what our enemy is, and how would you go and play a football game and never even look at the tape of the other team?
Yeah.
How are you going to play the game if
right.
you don't know anything about their capabilities, their talents, their strength, their coach, their trick plays, whether they're paying off the referee or not paying off the if you don't study your adversary, then you're going to get your ass kicked.
Yep. Yeah.
And so we have to understand the nature of evil.
Yeah.
There has to be evil if they want to try to get rid of 2 or 3 or 4 billion of us with a micro poison in the name of here to help. And I was going to say something too about patience. And there's no way for us to understand if when President Trump came down the escalators in 2015, was elected in 2016, and took office in 2017. Obviously, the other side kind of had an idea that he wasn't playing for them because they did everything they could to take him out. Can you imagine the patience that it had to take to say, okay, they've stolen the election. They've rigged the voting system. We know they stole the election. I live in Georgia. I live in Fulton County where we found 315,000 votes. We all knew they did it, but he had to have the patience to walk away to keep anarchy and civil war from breaking out in our country and be patient enough to let it play out, not invoke the Insurrection Act, not send out the National Guard, not where everybody still thought that Barack Obama walked on water and Orange Man was bad. And he had to have the patience to take a back seat for 4 years, knowing that the office was rightfully his.
Right.
How much character and stamina and patience and love to stay in the game and come back in 4 years later? How much patience does that take?
Only comes with age and wisdom. A younger man couldn't do it, I don't believe. I really don't.
The only thing I can think of, Alan, that would make me want to do something like that is to realize that I'm taking nothing with me, and I've got kids and grandkids and great grandkids and people I love And by God, over my dead body, am I going to walk out of this joint and leave it a raging stink hole? I'm going to do everything in my power before I take my last breath and try to make this a better place, because there aren't a lot of people with the background to make up the character, the discipline, the resolve, and the love of country like Donald Trump.
No, there just isn't. And it almost seems like the ones that, for whatever the reason, that do have that backbone and that ability, Rubio comes to mind, and a couple of the other people that I really kind of like a lot. It just doesn't seem like they had the stick-to-itiveness or the people around them to get it to happen. They just didn't have the family support, or they didn't have, well, spiritual guidance. It has to come into play. It's really, it's kind of sort of like when the time is right, you get it right. And I think we're going to look back. It's sort of like when you look back at like the Reagan years, a lot of people didn't understand what we were going through. And I was a very young man. And that was like the first and only time I've ever actually voted. Little truth
That
there.
was my first vote as well.
Yeah. And I said to myself, okay, well, I believe in this guy, and I don't know why. Did I believe in everything he did? No. But I look back at it and I said, well, that was the last really good president we've had. And, the other men could have been great people, but nobody had any backbone. None of them. And I don't know why that is, because in the old days, right, when we grew up as kids, the Churchills or whoever, whatever you think of Churchill, but all the other leaders, they always seem to have that, like chutzpah, like you were talking about before. They had it, and they weren't afraid to say it. And the thing that hit me the other day, my brother was here watching my place when I was gone, and he brought something up. He said, you know what's really interesting about Trump? He doesn't like Trump. And he said, you know what's really interesting about Trump? He answers any question that the media asks him. I said, you know why that is, Todd? Todd, my brother. And he said, well, yeah, I kind of know, but no, why? Why do you think that is? I said, because he's well versed on all of those problems years ago. And he's coming in here wanting to take care of those problems because they didn't just appear last week. He's known about these issues for a very long time, and he wants to dig them out at the root up. And that's where he's at. And he's well versed, well schooled, and he knows what he's talking about. The last 5 presidents, though, like if you hit him with a hard question, oh yeah, I'll get the staff.
I'll circle back with you.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that one. Next question. It's like they never answer anything. And I think there's a whole lot of global respect for that.
Well, Alan, and 1,000% agree with you. But think about this too. Think about the mastery of every subject that this man has. Think about the fact that he has no fear. He's not afraid of a question. And what I think from a wisdom category, he understands that by letting anyone ask him a question, he can detect the assumptions and the presumptions of the questioner. And he understands probably before they ask the question, is this a trap? Is this a setup? Is this a trick? Is this a when did you stop beating your wife type question?
Yeah.
Or is this a genuine question? But no matter what the nature of the question is or the intent of the questioner is, President Trump understands there's illumination and light and education that can take place, and how he handles the question.
Yeah.
He can expose the fraudulent nature and the deception of the media, which is, if people will remember, one of the boldest things this man ever did when he came down the escalators in Trump Tower to announce his presidency, was start picking on fake news. If you're going to run for president, you're going to come down the escalator and pick a fight with the global news media by calling them fake. Why would he do that? He did it because he understood the power of the spoken word, the power of narrative. And if you don't get a hold of the lying megaphones and all the networks, the 4 corporations that own 95% of the media newsprint and that can propagandize and divide and confuse people, if you don't decentralize the media, you're never going to get to decentralized ledger technology. You're never going to get to decentralized sovereignty. You're never going to get back to a decentralized state, county, family, school district. If you can't take away the fraudster's microphone and the monopoly over the microphone, it doesn't really much matter what you do. You have the best ideas in the world, but the word has some deep meaning, doesn't it?
Does. He's clearly guided. He's clearly one of these people that, first of all, like you just mentioned, he doesn't have to check with anybody before he answers something.
Right.
That's all you need to hear. That's all you need to know. He's good with his maker and himself and the people that he surrounds himself every single morning and all day long. And they have all on the same page, roughly. They're all on the same page. They all know the narrative. They all know where they're headed. They all have their mission and they know what's at stake. And they know how the vitriol that could come to their lives, almost like our forefathers, they knew this is treasonous, right? I'm not saying what his staff is doing right now is. I'm saying the opposite is actually treasonous. But what I'm saying is they're at risk of, if they don't succeed, it's not good. And when you live on that edge of knowing I'm doing the right thing, you can be a very powerful person because you answer to no one. That's really, we haven't had that in a long time. That's called leadership. I don't know what anybody else calls it. Good, bad, or indifferent to every decision. That is leadership. Yeah. What do we have here?
Well, Alan, we're going to get, folks, we're going to get to XRP. We're going to get to the economy. We're going to get to gold and silver. We're going to get to, we're going to get to a lot of things, I promise you. But Alan and I are just so much enjoying this time together and riffing with all of you. And again, please feel free, if you're in the streams here, to post a question. If you have something you'd like us to talk about, we'll definitely keep a look on the channel and see what we can come up with. But people need, and I think 80, most people understand this is not about a single personality. I make the analogy that President Trump's a hell of a damn good fighter pilot, but you know what? It takes a lot of people to fly a jet. It takes mechanics. It takes air traffic controllers. It takes flight crew. It takes the folks that refuel the airplane. It takes a base commander. It takes everybody. Draining the swamp is not about draining just the District of Columbia. Somebody's ahead over the District of Columbia. Somebody owns that private Federal Reserve System. Yeah. Somebody is orchestrating global wars and profiting off of them. Somebody is running Vatican City. Somebody's running the City of London. And President Trump is not doing what he's doing because of his just pure individual intelligence. There has got to be institutions and alliances and people with the same level of vision and chutzpah and character and fearlessness to be in support of moving the entire world off of this cartel's world reserve currency system and returning the sovereignty back to the lowest level of government possible. That is not a single man's task. It could never happen.
No.
Okay. So please, if I've heard it all the time, don't worship Trump. Trump's not God. Trump never said he was, and I don't worship him. But any man that changes this world is a broken man. And if God's going to change anything on this earth, he's going to have to use a broken man or a broken woman because we all fall short. Period.
Yep. Amen to that. Yep. Yeah.
Except my wife. She said she's not made a mistake. My wife's perfect.
No.
I want to go on the record and say that. Okay. So
okay. Yeah. I've met your wife. Yeah, I'd go along with that. Yeah. Yeah. So what do we got? What do we got in the question back there?
Well,
What
let
do
me
you-
see. Let's see. What do we got here? New comments.
My phone blew up over the last 2 days with the whole Zach Rector thing.
Oh boy, I just heard about that a couple hours ago, and honestly, I wish I had. I don't know. I know it's just between Zach and Jake, but I haven't gotten into the details yet. So,
Well, there's a lot going on there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I hate to see it, but you know what?
Yeah.
Hopefully, at the end of the day, when this shaking is all over, the truth will stand, whatever the truth is. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you have thoughts on it? You want to give us your insight and what you think's going on here?
You know, I don't want to get too deep into it, obviously, because I do have my own opinions about both men. I've met them both personally on numerous occasions, both of them. I know them both only to be honest people. I've never had them take advantage of me on a financial or personal level at all. So, in that sense, I'm going to start from there. I would also like to mention to people, as much as they're on YouTube every day and their sound advice is as much as it resonates with you, I'd like to remind everybody they're both very young men. And when I was their age, I probably would be a lot more cavalier and a lot different individual than I am today. Does that mean wisdom has shined well on me and yourself, Rob? Yeah, probably it has. But on the other hand, they are both bringing up very valid points. And I think that the community needs to be getting a little bit more exposure to, hey, price is down, retail's down, everybody's going to start slinging mud. I get it. I understand that. People made a lot of predictions. I get that. We've all made predictions. Trust me, I got this year wrong. I really thought by this time of year, we would at least be somewhere around all-time highs, if not higher. I'm still calling for $15 somewhere because that's what the Elliott wave told me back in the last 3 moves that it's had. That's just statistical analysis. That does not mean that it's not, going to fail or there's a time limit on it. But there's people really coming after each other because there's a lot of tension. Viewership's way down for everybody. That's been an issue. And I started about 6-9 months ago, about something like that. I started getting out less of just being focused on crypto. And I started focusing more on how do I get people an income stream on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? Because I know, and I knew that you and I understand where the valuations of these coins are going to go. We don't know when. Okay. Right. I don't know when.
We're not Nostradamus, but we are damn good at pattern recognition.
That's right. So I think it's going to be in my lifetime, obviously. I certainly hope so. But until then, I wanted to make sure that I could find a way that everybody could make a living to where you could keep your bag. And I thought, wow, what a strategic, way to go for my channel. And that, boy, boom, viewership just dropped off because everybody just wants to hear the same news clips every single day about what happened, what didn't happen. And but for me, I was really thinking ahead of all this because I want you to keep your bag because I know what it's going to be valued at one day in your lifetime. But you have to make a living and you have to listen to your husband or wife tell you, well, why do you have that stupid stuff? And if you can't pay your bills, you're not going to be able to keep it. You're going to have to sell it, And anyway, so I went down that road. Anyway, they need a little intervention. I want to say this one thing about those two gentlemen. I know Zach to be an incredible family man, a man of faith. And if he's saying it, I'm believing it. That's about all I have to say about that.
Okay. Well, I would like to say on the record too, Both of them are my friends.
Mhm.
I have respect for both of them. I understand that their heart is all into this. Okay. But none of us are perfect. I don't know the details, and I'm not going to get in oil underneath my fingernails and try to, score this thing one way or the other. I do know that, like you said, Alan, when you're young and buff and 35 years old, you're a lot quicker to jump into the scrap, and start throwing haymakers,
Yeah.
and when you're, you know, got gray hair, all of a sudden the punches come less,
Mhm.
so it'll work itself out. I know
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of times when money's involved and market shares involved and egos involved and viewers and listeners and pressure happens, and I hate to see it, but at the same time, that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So
That's right.
hopefully they'll both be wiser when this is all over on the other side, and they'll have learned lessons. What they are, I don't know, but I do love both the men. I've met them both at most of all the events, whether it's
Yep.
wherever we go around the country. The community's tight, and
Yes.
so. But this is a patient cooker. This market, the timing of unraveling what's been done to us since 1871 or 1913, or
Mhm.
Nixon taking us off the gold standard, 1971, or I mean, think about it.
1935.
I was thinking this the other day. Did you know that in 1971 we came off the gold standard? The World Economic Forum was founded under the tutelage of George Soros, coach, and Henry Kissinger, coaching Klaus Schwab to start the World Economic Forum. I mean, could you have a grosser cartel of assholes than, I mean,
About covers it.
it about covers it, doesn't it? So we didn't even get the petrodollar until 1974, 3 years after we came off. And what do we have to
Yeah.
do to get the petrodollar? We had to offer generations of men to spill their blood to keep peace in the Middle East. That was the backing of the petrodollar. Then no matter what might happen, what any kind of outbreak might happen in the Middle East, Kissinger and Nixon agreed to pledge the lives of American soldiers to go over there and defend the Middle East in the event a war broke out. So, we'll send as many useless eaters as you need if you'll just do business with us, and let's only transact your oil in U.S. fiat dollars. And if anybody messes with you, we'll send our boys over there.
Yeah.
How the hell they get the authority to do that?
No.
Is that the Declaration, the Constitution, or is that
No.
moral or scriptural? No.
No.
How many men and women died needlessly for a stupid piece of paper
Yeah.
called a Federal Reserve note?
Yeah. Yeah. All to back the Ponzi.
That is why, if anybody wants to try to tell me that what President Trump is doing in a moral reset of this system that has been nothing but a control system owned by private cartel assholes, and they want to try to say that he should leave the Federal Reserve alone and leave the money system alone and not try to correct the moral inversion and set things straight, they've lost their damn minds.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. You are absolutely correct on
Is
that
that
one.
clear enough?
That's as clear as you can get. And we're and by the way, we'll talk about it later towards the end of the show, but I have some real interesting things that I'm going to talk about in January when you're going to be at my show, and we're going to discuss about exactly what you just talked about right there, and some of the avenues in which you're going to be able to partake in personally with your fans, friends, and family. And I will tell you, it's going to be an education you're not going to want to miss. And going forward, my channel will be pursuing a lot of that going forward after that show. However, at the show is where it's really going to be introduced. And I can't wait. I can't wait because it's something I've had under my hat for a long time, and I've really been working hard on it. And when you look back It's the perfect answer to everyone in crypto. This decentralized world is where we're headed. And we all know it. We all see it. It's all these stumbling and growth blocks that we're in right now. And it's like, how do we get there? And how is it actually possible, Rob, that we've had so much fundamental great news over the last year? Okay, 2 years for that matter. Since FTX, it's been nothing but great news, to be honest. Okay, and where are we? It's like, why aren't we there yet? How is it the cell phone the smartphone blows up overnight? ChatGPT just blows up overnight. And this has got, this whole, almost all innovation explodes on the scene. But yet, this one, gee, I just can't figure it out. Maybe it could be the people that control the central banking system. Isn't it strange? Isn't that something that we can't put our finger on? Well, anybody that thinks that we need to keep those people around doesn't understand decentralization. Number one, you need a whole lot more homework done on that. But number two, that's really, really, really what tariffs are. Tariffs are no different than you're a store owner. Well, okay, if you want to sell your product on my shelves, you give me a deal. I can't buy the Coke on the shelf for what I'm going to sell it for. You have to be able to give me a deal on it. Otherwise, I can't make a profit. I can't exist. My people in this country can't exist. Well, we happen to have the nicest store in the world. We have the most consumers coming in to rush in and purchase all of their goods. It's fundamental basics economics 101. And all these people that don't understand that, and all the people that were trying to tell me a year ago, hey, Alan, you don't understand. It's going to create inflation. I'm like looking at them, laughing in their face. I'm like, I'm a 40-year economist. Explain to me how that's going to create inflation. No, printing money creates inflation. I'm like, no, a tariff does not create inflation. It may create higher price, okay, but that is not inflation. You don't understand the meaning of the two words, and you're calling yourself a news channel. Please. It's comical what people will believe in this world. Anyway, I don't even know what I was talking about. But
well, Alan, think about this. And what you just talked about is it is so profound that that the system should work on free will and mutual consent. If you've got a Coke to sell and I want to buy the Coke, it ought to be between me and you. Okay. But what happens is when you have a hidden hand, third party, invisible interloper that's involved between every transaction any human being makes in the world, and they've got their hand in the currency, they've got their hand in the cost of the Coke, they've got their hand in the buying of the Coke, they've got their hand involved in every aspect of what should be a two-party, free will, mutual consent transaction. And now all of a sudden you've got three parties and you don't even know there's three parties. You think it's just between me and you buying and selling the Coke. But when somebody's swiping 5% of the cost of your money, or every night you go to sleep for 8 hours and you wake up and your Federal Reserve note's worth a little bit less because it shrunk in value just because time clicked off the clock. I mean, if people don't understand that inflation is the single greatest form of theft ever invented, they don't understand what they're talking about when it comes to inflation. All of these concepts business schools have taught us as skulls full of mush, as Rush Limbaugh used to say. At MBA, I read 17 Rothschild published books about the economy. So,
right.
Oh, really? Well, why don't you read 17 more and you'll be even dumber? Basic economics and basic math and mutual consent is the highest form of moral law on earth as this place is designed. And when you've got three parties in the equation and you don't know it, everything's off. everything is off. You can't fix the problem when you've got an
Yeah.
invisible person that you don't even know is in there doing skunk works.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's comical. As being a yacht captain, I've traveled all over the world, right? So when I go to a different country that I haven't been in, or maybe even a country we used to call them third world, I don't know what they're called anymore, but like seems like we're third world lately. But
Yeah.
The first thing you do when you get off the boat is, where's the black market? Why do you go to a black market? Because there's a buyer and a seller, period. There's no middleman. There's nobody in between the two of you. 9 times out of 10, you're not even dealing in the local currency. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about.
And isn't it funny, Alan, that it got called the black market because the real black market didn't want you to go into a true market, so they had to call the true market the black market.
That's right. It's comical, really. It's like, oh, well, those people, they're not doing proper business. Oh, okay. Well, how come I can buy everything half price over there? What's going on here? Like, I can't even get half the goods because you tell me I either can't eat it, can't buy it, it isn't legal, or whatever the situation. I mean,
the king doesn't get his pound of flesh if you go to the black market, right?
Can't get it. Yeah. And the hilarious part is, all of that with stable coins and crypto is going to be the whole face of the planet one day. It's all going to be a black market because we don't need you. We just don't need central banking systems. We just don't. And everybody, the other one, I'm going to keep promoting my show. The other one that I really want to talk about is people aren't getting paid for their value of their money. These banks, it's criminal. This is a criminal institution when they tell you, oh, well, I'll give you 0.011 of a percent on your balance. Excuse me? Like, I know what these banks make. I know why they make it. I know how they make it. I've worked for bankers for 40 years. I know the insides and the outside. I know what's going on. I know the good ones from the bad ones. And now that I'm with the benevolent ones, okay, you now have the opportunity in your lifetime to actually make money with your money going forward. That's what's being exposed. All of that right there is the future of decentralization. All of that. And I had a guy tell me the other day, oh, you have to be an accredited investor. And I said, oh, well, is that what I need to be? Really? Okay, so I was a stockbroker, and let's see, that doesn't qualify me? No, well, see, you got to have this, and you got to have to jump through the. I said, okay, well, so let me get this straight now.
You got to sing like Beyonce, or you can't invest in these sophisticated.
I go, okay, so wait a minute. You're telling me that, despite my net worth, you're telling me, or you're telling everybody else that I know that would like to invest in this company, they have to be an accredited investor. Yes, that's correct. I said, why? Well, that's the law. That's the rules. I said, well, you know when that rule was written, right? You know when that came to be. You know who wrote that, right? Like, well, no, I don't. Just kind of a young guy, young broker. And I said, well, let me explain. Let me ask you just a couple quick questions. Number one, do I need to be an accredited investor to go gamble in Vegas?
Nope.
How about take out a car loan for, I don't know, 10 years at 10% interest?
Nope.
No.
Subprime mortgage. I can get a subprime mortgage at 18%, right?
And so 18%. I am getting robbed in every decision I make financially in my life. Okay. But I'm qualified enough to make those bad decisions because it profits who? Mr. Bank.
The house.
Right? This is all simple math, right? So when you really understand the whole thing, and I explained that to this young man, and he's like, well, yeah, I never heard it quite put like that. I'm like, so why do I have to jump through a hoop Or why is it the only let's call it job in the world that you're not able to give financial advice in? Like, you can give advice, I can give advice about buying real estate down the street. Not a problem. Hey, I think you ought to buy that house. They're never going to come after me for bad financial advice with the real estate. But for whatever it is about, oh, this big Wall Street machine and this banking system, oh, you can't give that advice because you know what? That's not legal. They will come after you. And I'm like, that's a good old boys club, right?
We define legal.
We, yeah, don't get me started about legal. No, don't. This could be a long show if we go down that road. Yeah.
Well, Alan, I want to bring this chart up and just show you some of my crazy work that I was doing today. But you know, Minnesota is not the anomaly; it's the observable prototype. Okay,
Amen.
Scale does not eliminate failure; it magnifies it.
Yes.
If you're doing it in I don't know if you saw this. I saw this hilarious post yesterday. It was like Elon shared it or he posted. He goes, "Hey, Forbes came out with their new top billionaire list," and he had a picture of the top 4, the world's richest man, America's the newest 2025 billionaires, and Elon Musk was number 1.
Yeah.
And number 2, 3, and 4 were Somali daycare owner 1, 2, and 3. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Now they found like 500 of these in Washington State. And so before you came on the call, Alan, and right before I started this call, President Trump has ordered the complete and total cessation of all payments to all daycare centers in all 50 states until they can absolutely prove that they are legitimate. Because this wasn't, when you see one cockroach, there's not just one, there's 100.
No.
And so what has Elon Omar and Minnesota and Tim Waltz and this mass open border immigration system come in, take the money, and vote for us? What should the person with a 3rd grade education understand is the motive for a group of people to let that happen? There is still not a mainstream media news report on the Minnesota fraud or the 315,000 false votes in Fulton County that stole the election. The biggest heist on planet Earth is to steal a nation called America.
Yeah.
And when that news comes out and the media still won't tell their audience that looks like 2020 was stolen.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about the media?
Yeah. I tell you what the media is. It's run by the City of London. I think you understand that already.
Right.
Yeah. But like, I went to bed that election night in 2020, and he had such an insurmountable lead that I was like, I already know who the president is. I can go to bed.
Right.
And by the way, I'm on West Coast time. So when I went to bed, it was quite late.
Yeah.
And I woke up to a different guy than I thought was the night before. Now, I've been following elections for, I don't know, 8 or 20 of them. And I've never seen that happen before. I've never seen that occur.
Well, it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't occur.
It didn't occur.
Right. But, and then the way January 6th happened, the second I heard about January 6th, I said to myself, well, who's in charge of security of that building? Like, really? Like, with the most sacred building we have in this country just got, like, they just ran in there? Like, fire the person that was in charge. The whole thing just stinks. And it doesn't matter what side you like or anything else. At some point, you have to use your own personal discernment. And you have to say to yourself, this doesn't add up. This does not pass the sniff test. I'm sorry. And we get called conspiracy theorists. I dove into all this stuff 20 years ago. The thing about, for me, is it didn't make me happy to get too deep involved in this, because it really consumed a lot of my time. And then I got to the point where I hated the system.
Yeah.
The issue with hate is that it eats you from the inside out.
And it scrambles your frequency. You're not in resonance. You're not in harmony. All you hear is static, and you're not
Yes.
living your best life when you're hating on
Nope.
somebody else. You know?
And you know it's corrupt. You know there's a problem. You know there's a situation. You just feel so powerful. I mean, you're not empowered to take care of this.
But Alan, this is that move the mountain type of thing. You know, this is when you're in alignment, you understand laws and principles, and you're not afraid, then you can be that David that goes after Goliath, or you can be Daniel in the lion's den.
Agreed.
You know, you can be tempted, but if you don't know what your identity is, what your powers are, and what alignment is, and what was meant by moving mountains or walking through the valley of the shadow of death and fearing no evil. You know, if we don't understand that identity, then, you know, we are victims of fear. I mean, 365 times, there's no greater repeated admonition than fear not, or be not afraid, especially when you're getting licked by a furry animal. You know? Look at that boy. I love that. I love that.
That's my Jesse boy.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Yeah, that's Jesse James right there.
But going back, just to put a bow on this invisible hand, Federal Reserve, inflation, theft, lack of knowledge, inflation, all the terminology, all of the quote unquote schooling they've done to program us and to just talk in cul-de-sac circles about the way things are supposed to work, when all of it is just baloney, right? I mean, you look at this picture on the screen here. The Federal Reserve system, the liquidity system, is easily between 100 and 300 trillion dollars. And if you apply that 12 to 13% fraud rate that's happened in Minnesota daycare to the Federal Reserve and the games that they might play, and who gets a cut and who marks it up and who's getting the spread and whose bread's getting buttered on what side and when, this type of wealth, which represents human energy, our lifetime, which is what money is, it's just a physical manifestation of our work and labor and creativity.
Energy.
Our energy is manifest in this thing called currency that we can trade back and forth, but we should be able to do it freely and abundantly, not as slaves and serfs. But this life of ours is being stolen, not by force. It's being extracted through opacity, complexity, and time.
Complacency.
The time value of money. And look at what they do. Everything, whether you're a lawyer or a doctor or a regulator or a grand poobah, fill in the blank, a banker, a finance, they make the language so indecipherably complex that people just go, well, I don't know. I got to get an accountant to pay my king's taxes. I got to get a lawyer to, you know, fight the HOA. I got to go to a dentist to drill my teeth. I got to go to a chemical drug dealer to practice pharmakia on me for only $900 a month.
Right.
You know, I mean, they scramble the language with such complexity that we just tap out and we go, well, I have to go to the expert, you know, which monetizes their expertise at our expense.
Yeah.
And it's all a con.
And it's so true. And they really started coming after the family structure, I don't know, 15, 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yes.
And they just started coming after the church. They started coming after the families. Mom started to work more, that whole thing, which leads into you need daycare, and then you need this whole daycare system. And I really want to remind everybody, daycare literally is what?
It's outsourced parenting, unfortunately.
It's outsourced parenting, but it's really only for the age group of what? 3, 4 to 5? Think about that. Because they're in school right after that. So it's only that period of time. Like they're too young, right, to go to daycare, I believe. I don't know. It's been a long time since Brent was that age. But think about this. This is only like 2 years of a child's life And they're talking about $9 billion or whatever, how many $billion per state for those 2 years. It's like the whole thing became, I don't know how many people you know that have children that are in daycare. It costs the parents more than what the mom's job earns. And that whole structure
yesterday, David Sachs retweeted a post of someone that was so upset and so frustrated that reflects the cost of the squeeze on the middle class. This young man was like, I can barely make ends meet. And our constant battle at home is, does my wife stay working to put the second kid in, or stay home and try to get by without it? But basically the cost for 2 children in daycare was like a second mortgage. And they're battling every day. Does she go to work and farm out the kid and barely make ends meet, or stay home and try to take care of the kids and barely make ends meet with one job? And that's the dilemma that they're in because of this rapid inflation, all of this money printing that took place in the 4 years between Trump's first term and second term. Now don't get me wrong. We have got to get rid of this whole Federal Reserve note system. We have got to render unto Caesar that which is Caesar, which means feed the Federal Reserve debt notes right up the hole that doesn't shine any sun to the people that printed it all. Right. We got to render it back to the assholes. Right. And then replace what we were using with actual legitimate sovereign treasury dollars, not Federal Reserve notes.
Correct.
Okay. So until we render unto Caesar all of their counterfeit money right up their ass, we've got to back ourselves out of this system by doing 2 things: not collapsing it currently and causing chaos, and secondly, not refinancing the same set of assholes that put us in this problem in the first place.
Completely agree.
So we have to make certain that we don't refinance the enemy, and we have to not blow the whole joint up while we're trying to transition from fake money to honest money.
Absolutely agree. And the only way you can do that is with honest money. The only way you can do that was honest trade. You can do that with an honest exchange of true value. And you
between 2 parties, and the 2 parties involved, those are the only 2. If I want to cut your hair, you want to cut my hair, if we don't both say yes, it doesn't happen. If I want to give you $10 or you want to give me $10, nobody should be taking 3.5% of the $10.
Yeah, exactly. That's and we have a system for that, by the way. I don't know if you've heard about it.
I wish I'd invested in it.
Yeah, right. Me too. Yeah. I was thinking the other day, okay, well, if I were the treasury of the planet, how would I do it? And that's why I am so excited about stablecoins. I do believe they are a way to do it. The capture problem is an issue because the difference between a stablecoin and a CBDC is virtually not much. Technologically, it's virtually the same thing, right? It's just who's behind it and what are their motives.
Right. But that's the thing. Look, if let's say Ripple Labs, RLUSD, let's just say Ripple, since they were, XRP was born on my beautiful wife and I's anniversary, June the 2nd, 2012.
Nice.
And the issuer that has been laying tracks around the world and signing NDAs and dealing with the world's biggest organizations and getting into compliance and setting the rails and setting the system up is the issuer. Let's just say that's going to be the Ripple Labs is an issuer that might be working with some people that have some power and influence around the world that maybe want to get rid of the central banking system. So if you have a RLUSD or a CBDC, would you rather a Ripple Labs that's working with sovereign governments issuing the token, or would you like to have a Rothschild central bank issuing the token?
So that's a tough one, Rob. I don't know.
I know. I'll give you 5 minutes, okay?
Okay, I'll get back with you. Yeah.
I mean, to the point, if we're dealing with a Caesar that is issuing tokens, then by default, the motive of Caesar is going to be something that we're going to need to render the coins right back to them. We can't hold a central bank accountable that doesn't want to be held accountable. We can hold a government accountable, a true sovereign government. If they're issuing the token called an American dollar, we can vote their ass out.
Oh, yeah.
But if a central bank in the city of London is issuing the token, or in the District of Columbia, it's not a part of our sovereign government anymore, we can't hold them accountable.
Nope. That's always been the issue. And there's enough people now, I believe. We're starting to get to the numbers that we've needed. God bless Ron Paul. He tried for a very long time.
And G. Edward Griffin.
And Griffin. Yeah. I actually had dinner with him once, and I will tell you, I was backstage with him. They said, I might have told the story before, but it's so good. They came up to me, and I was supposed to be a guest speaker, and they said to me, "Hey, Alan, Mr. Griffin, he's kind of a slow talker, and his thought process is so good. We're going to go ahead and bump you from the show. Is that okay?" And I'm like, I can't even believe you're interrupting me right now to tell me that, because I want to listen to the man speak. It was so good. He went on for 4 straight hours, and it was brilliant. They're like, "We're gonna have to bump you, Mr. Staple." I'm like laughing at him, going, I would never get in front of that. I can't even believe they were gonna put me after him. I was like, what? But there was 3 or 4 of us after him. It wasn't just me. But it was an honor to be on the stage with him. You know what I mean? He's just that good. Yeah. Talk about. I want to mention something that it doesn't really it doesn't excuse our miscalculations, but I want the XRP people to understand where I'm going with this one now. I'm going to change channels a little bit. Some on-chain data has come out, and I've been digging into it lately. And most people don't know this because a lot of people don't follow Bitcoin, but there was some 7.4 million Bitcoin sold, okay, since September. Now, it's this man's opinion that there's only like 15 million of them out there right now, okay? That means half of all the Bitcoin changed hands in the last 4 months. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, right. This is really big information. It just came out the other day. So when everybody says, "Oh, well, we were at 350 and now we're at 180. I don't understand, Alan. How come somebody's suppressing the market? It's corruption, this and that." And I'm like, the coin that's 60% of our market sold half of their coins, and we didn't crash. Do you understand the power behind that? Do you also understand that half of those coins, those 7.4 million Bitcoin, were probably bought at, I don't know, $100 or less than $10,000? And all of those people are now out of the market because they've 10x their money minimum, right? They're 10xers, so they got out. So what does that tell you at 80,000? Everybody who's getting in, I'm just using, so I'll say everybody getting in at XRP at $2, right? Their anticipation is 10x, right? So if you're getting in at, we'll call it $100,000, 80,000 or $100,000 of Bitcoin, their 10x number is $1 million. The 10x for everybody getting in right now in the XRP market is $20, right? That's your 10x number. That's what's now expected, because all those people that ridiculous returns of back when I first and you first got into crypto, which was back in 2016, all those people have been eliminated from the market because they've gone on to buy an island, buy whatever they're going to do. Sure, they still got a small bag of what they had, okay? But all those people that bought XRP back in 2012 or whatever, they're out of the market unless you're involved in Ripple, unless you're a banking institution, unless you're somebody big. So the new number to look at, I'm not calling this the bottom at all. But I am saying that the volumes of sell there's no volume there anymore. So who really moves this market? The CME moves this market with futures. That futures contracts, all those short sells that have been pounding our market, trying to get this thing to collapse back down to 50 cents because everybody's calling for XRP to be back at its numbers because it doesn't have the value or whatever it might be, whatever the narrative is on X this week. Oh, it's going to collapse. It's going to crash. It's going to zero. All of that nonsense holds no water any longer because all of those short sells, that is not a good idea if you're playing futures going forward. In particular, with the Genius Act coming in this coming week, with the printing that's about to happen, with all the rest of it, it's really not a good idea to short this market at this number. That's this man's opinion. I don't know. It could go lower, but what I'm trying to say is I'm painting a picture of how did we keep from going down 70 and 80% the way we used to in bear markets, right? How did that happen? Somebody bought all those coins up.
I've got
You can't sell XRP at $2 without having a buyer. Somebody bought that coin at $2, at $1.95, at $1.90. Somebody bought all those coins up, and anticipation of what? 50 cents?
The Clarity Act and the Market Structure Act,
and where it's going up.
And it was just announced, I believe today or yesterday, that they've already scheduled Tim Scott, the head of the Senate Banking Committee, has set January the 15th for the first markup, which is the market structure bill is going to get marked up to align with the Clarity Act that passed in the House back in July. So once, Patrick Witt is in charge, he works with David Sachs in the crypto office. Yep. He is the point man to get this reconciliation, these bills out of committee and voted on and put into a bill and put on President Trump's desk.
And we know where he came from, right?
I do. Harvard, Yale, Harvard. Hayes was actually, Patrick was in charge or at the Office of Personnel Management in the first Trump term. Then he went to McKinsey, and then he came back to the President Trump's administration. But Dan Scavino holds the Office of Personnel Management in the White House today. That tells you how important that job is. Anybody that gets invited to work in the federal government from the executive branch standpoint, you got to go through Dan Scavino, which is President Trump's #1 guy.
Witt is also, how do I put this? Well connected to a man by the last name of Lutnick, by the way.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They've worked together on many projects.
Cantor Fitzgerald?
Oh, yeah. And where that's all headed going forward, it's going to be. Anyway.
Interesting to see. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, the transparency is going to be there, and you can't hide from the sun. It's dark or light. So we're going to have light. If there are deals that shouldn't be put together, those will come to light. If there's leakage, I think we'll have leak detectors, right?
Yes. I think one of the things, since we're doing a 26 show here, one of the other things I really want to bring up is I think there's going to be a lot come to light as far as we know the Wall Street players don't really like the crypto. We know that the central bankers don't really like crypto. That's pretty obvious. Europe really doesn't like crypto. They just don't. Okay. So, and that's just man's opinion. You can have your own opinion. It doesn't matter. Whatever you believe. They don't like gold and silver, and they don't like crypto. Okay. I don't know what they like. It seems like they hate everything, but we won't go down that road. But what I think is going to happen starting in 2026 is the great unraveling of what they control and the way they control it. This is about to show itself in a manner that you can't hide. These daycare centers are the tip of the iceberg.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you know the work Nicholas is doing with
Yes.
the mortgages and the bond structure of all of our taxation of your property tax is absolutely a quadrillion-dollar problem.
Yep.
All of this house of cards all goes back to pure greed, pure darkness, pure manipulation of people using digits. And some accountability has to start, and I believe it starts this coming year. I really do.
I agree.
There's too much exposure. It's too much. If you and I have it figured out, right? Come on. You know, you and I are not geniuses. And I've known about it for decades. So I can't be the Lone Ranger around here.
Alan, when you break this down, brother, if you want to look at the scripture book, 40% of the book talks about money changers and people trying to worship mammon and power and greed and control and money. And 60% of the book is about how to figure out why you're here in the first place.
Yeah.
The ultimate book is split 60-40 over, you know, and the battles between principalities of darkness, not flesh and blood. It's not about what political party you align yourself with, or what your net worth is, or how big your house is, or what your religion is, or any of that stuff. The deal that we're battling is truth versus lies, deception versus freedom, sovereignty versus slavery. And the software system that runs inside the hardware called the body.
That's right.
Our battle is against the software. It's
It
not
is.
against the hardware.
So well put. Exactly.
And if we don't start to understand who's been misprogramming the software since before the doctor slapped us on the ass, we're not going to get ourselves out of this problem. This is a software problem, not a hardware problem.
Exactly. That's the whole comedy when you start looking around at like all the things that they push upon you is always, oh, well, this class of people, this race of people. That is not the hardware of a human being, isn't the issue. We're all the same. You might have blue eyes, I might have green eyes, or whatever it might be, but we're all the same.
Right.
The software, what you believe, what you've been programmed to believe, what you've been lied to for all of these years because the data going in is bad.
Right.
It's never been honest. It's never been true to source, from source. And it's an easy equation. I'm one of those optimistic people about AI that I happen to believe that if we can keep AI honest, big if, I know, but if we could keep that honesty in AI is going to it's going to be blatantly obvious. Oh, here's your problem, Minnesota. And it's just going to point right over at these categories because it's not going to be political. It's not going to be corrupted data in the software. It's going to be right there on the screen. This is your problem. This is why you can't balance a budget, Minnesota. This right here. This is what you fix and your problems go away. When it doesn't have to have emotion behind it. When it doesn't have to have, oh, well, these poor people or these situations over here. No, we can benefit all people if we just get the corruption out of the middleman, the triple middlemen that have been ruining the digit before it even gets distributed. It's terrible. I don't even like to say that it's anything other than our ability to be misled by the media. This has been, you probably already know this, Rob. I threw my television away 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't watch TV. I don't watch hardly any YouTube anymore. I can't find a channel that's honest other than yours. And then I'm not on X anymore. I don't do much X anymore at all. I just got so, anyway, I'm not into pissing matches.
I understand where you're coming out from, Alan, and it is hard. And I think when you have fear and lack, people are getting squeezed financially, and then everything they thought they knew was true is turning out to be a lie.
Yeah.
And we have, from leaning on our own understanding, we've attached our identity with our title, our net worth, our bank statement, our friend group, the size of our house, the status of what college our kids go, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you have to begin to die of self and admit they got you too, we were all caught in the soup. We all believe the same crap about global warming, or doctors in the white lab coats only care about our health, or preacher man's got all the inside secrets to a one-on-one relationship with our Father. Okay. There's an intermediary and a middleman in almost everything. And yet the truth of the matter is, and I just posted it up there, is we live in a world of absolute abundance, no lack. There's enough resources. Scarcity is a concept constructed by those who want to keep us in fear and under control. Okay. The Creator created creative co-creators to create, period.
Correct.
We have more abundance than we could ever. We're not running out of land. We're not running out of drinking water. We're not running out of food. We can cut down. We have more trees right now than ever before.
Ever before.
Okay? Ever before. Yeah. So we can build all we want to build. We have free energy if they hadn't stolen Nikola Tesla's patents, and that's coming back to us.
It's coming back, by the way.
If you think about this idea, Alan, what if I was to introduce go to Harvard Law School or business school or Duke MBA program and talk about, we already have free energy? What are you talking about? No, we don't. I haven't read a white paper on that. If our energy and labor, which is the electrical software required to go and do a job and create or paint or sing a song or make a movie or build a house, whatever, if money is a form of the energy that we put into this world, and it can move across the XRP ledger at 0.0000001 cents between me and you, whether you're next door or the next continent over, isn't that a form of free energy distribution?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir, it is.
What if we define free energy as the ability for me and you to swap our personal property, my life force and energy and treasure, with your life force and energy and treasure, and nobody gets 6% of the exchange every time we do it?
And why would we ask anyone else's permission for it?
We were sovereign. We're not supposed to ask anyone else. When people understand, Alan, the parallels between DLT, distributed ledger technology, and divine
and ODL,
divine living
ODL, by the way,
technology, when there's a one-to-one relationship between me and God and me and my Father, as Jesus came to teach us, and there's no intermediary in between, and there's no 10% tithing, no membership form required, no conditionality, no rubbing candles, rubbing beads, burning candles, or beating myself on the back, or any of this kind of stuff. There's no conditionality to accepting the gift of life that we were given by our creation. There's no conditionality. The world has put all of these conditionalities into our head.
Yeah.
But not the designer.
No.
The designer only wants us to go forth, be sovereign, be creative, and reign like kings and queens over the sovereign land, because that's the way he set it up. We're supposed to colonize this earth with a heavenly culture. There's a group of people that would rather us not do that.
Right. The comical thing, what is it? The 501c, right? Is that comical or what? When you look into that, like, they need a tax status for churches. You're like, really? Huh. Wow. Okay. I didn't know that I needed that to pray to my Father.
Now you got me going. Okay. Elizabeth, this might be the big one, Elizabeth. I mean,
look, no.
Listen, folks, History 101. There were 3 assassins of Jesus Christ: money changers, politicians, and the religious folks.
There you go. I love the third one.
Secondly, if the money changers are still doing what the money changers did, and 5 days after Jesus turned over the money changer tables, they hung him on a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the money changers that are running their scam today would subsidize religious groups with tax-free revenue if they thought these religious groups were growing and milling 100 million new Jesuses?
Probably not.
Probably not. So if they're subsidizing them with tax-free, they're a 501c3 with tax-free revenue and speech codes. You can't talk about politics.
That's right.
Don't violate the speech codes, because if you do, you're going to start paying taxes on that revenue.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 3 groups that are still in bed 2,000 years later are the politicians, the religious class, and the money changers. And
Amen.
until we figure out that faith and a one-on-one direct relationship with our Father does not need an intermediary, was never designed to have an intermediary, and we were taught to avoid the intermediaries. I'll leave it on this. I'll land it with this point, Alan. In the entire New Testament, Jesus spoke one time of religion. He said, "Don't do it. Stay away from it."
I love it.
Who are we to argue?
Yeah.
Jesus did not come to start a religion.
No.
He came to show us what relationship looked like.
And he came to show us what we're capable of.
Correct. These things I've done, you can do, and even greater things. Why? Because you have the same Father that I do. I'm here to show you that you are in alignment if you can have that. If you will first humble yourself and then seek with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength what your real identity is and your real purpose is, you can do these things and even greater things than I've done, because we have the same Father.
Yes.
This world doesn't want us to know that.
No. But the people that those words just spoke to, they understand. And we are more powerful than our actions, by the way. We are far more powerful than our actions. Going back to
word, the energy that comes out of our word that sets vibration and frequency and touches matter and causes things to form and create and move through the power and the agency of our spoken word. Never think that words can't hurt or help or grow or create or provide hope or love or healing or depression, anger, hate, war, death. The power of the spoken word. I mean, "I will" is the most powerful sentence on earth, Alan. I will.
I like I am a lot too.
I am as an identity, but guess what? The one that gave us the identity gave us the freedom to say, "I will walk with my Father," or "I will not."
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't make the right decision, then we're doing ourselves in.
Yeah. Well, I am God's son. Is pretty powerful.
And I will obey, I will listen, I will study, I will humble, I will serve, I will find my purpose and live my purpose, and I will not fear.
That, yes. No. Fear what? You're eternal. What do you have to fear?
Right.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a crazy world out there when you start listening to people tell you their views. The reality of the whole thing is they're their views. There's no system, no government, no banking system, any of that reigns above. None of that. They've just told you how important they are. They told you that they own everything, right? You own it.
And they're willing to kill half of us to shut us up if we don't agree with them.
Yeah.
What moral red line will the world's bankers not cross to shut us up?
There isn't one. And they're trying to get us in a third war right now, as you probably already figured out. They'd like us to go at each other again. Yeah. I was talking to it. This is so classic. I have to share this. I was listening to a couple. They're probably probably at least listening. They're from Russia originally, and they came to this country a long time ago, 25 years ago now. And I was talking to, I won't use his name, but I was talking to this gentleman. This is, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. And he started telling me about the Ukrainian situation. And I thought, yeah, well, that's a hot button. I didn't think we were going to go down that road. And he said, well, he goes, you know, what most people don't understand about Russia or Russians or Putin in this case, in his opinion, this is all his opinion, is we have no interest. They have no interest in conquering Europe. None. First of all, and I'm using his words, but it all made sense after he said it and the way he said it. The people of Europe are flat out lazy. They're expensive and they don't have any resources. And why would we want to try and support all those people with that ridiculous pension and this negative economy that they have? That would be a financial burden on Russia that they could never overcome. Why would they want that? Like his point was, look what it's done to our country, Alan. And I'm like, right, because Europe doesn't need an army because they don't have to pay for an army. That's why they all get to retire at 50. And Americans are still working until they're 75 and 80. And I'm not trying to throw any Europeans under the bus because it's not their doing. But I will tell you, it is crazy when American blood has to be spent for those people and then they don't really respect this country in any manner at all. And in fact, if you look into 1913 and if you look at where the taxation really goes, you understand that they've been stealing from us for generations. So when you know all of that and you see what's happening in the world today and you go, oh, they need to start a war because they have no resources. They don't have any money left. And it's like, oh, it's their go-to. They've been doing this for 1,000 years. Let's do it again. Why not strike up the band? Let's make it happen again. It's not our kids. Anyway.
The entire house of cards is hollowed out by 1 billion termites, and they know that it only takes one little click and the whole house of cards falls in on them. You know, and they've been milking America, our labor, our talent, our creativity, by opening the borders and buying the politicians and owning the media outlets and owning the textbook company that prints all the crap in the school and unionizing all the teachers and telling and controlling our mind in everywhere we turn, everything we breathe, everything we put in our mouth, everything we put in our eyes, everything we put in our ears, everything they have to touch or try to touch so that truth doesn't prevail, or health doesn't prevail, or wisdom doesn't mature, you know, or unity. United we stand, divided we fall. We can't have that unity thing going on over there. Mix it all up, boys. Get them hating each other.
Yeah.
Can't have unity.
Because otherwise they'll organize and come after the castle.
And they outnumber us. Don't forget it, boys. They outnumber us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, you know, there's a reason that guys with hair like this,
yeah,
you know, think about it, Alan. It used to be 3 generations would live together, the grandparents and the parents and the grandkids. The kids' moms could work and mom had some relief, and the grandparents loved nothing more than to be with the grandkids. And generational lore and traditions and wisdom and health and family unity, and everyone stayed together, and it was amazing. Well, now we got to have the women's lib thing. We got to have everybody go to work. The kids got to get outsourced. We got to put the parents in the nursing home. And so now you're draining your resources. You're working even harder. Both people are working. The kids are being trained by the government. The wisdom that should be in the house helping to keep the house together is everything's separated. The kids, the husband, the wife, the grandparents, everybody's distributed. Everybody's working even harder and harder and harder just to stay separated.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, but it's all by design. It's all
Yeah.
by design.
Don't listen to the old people.
No. I get off my lawn. I'm just one of those kind of guys, you know.
Yeah. It's a crazy world out there right now. I mean, it's always been a crazy world. That's another thing. A lot of people, oh, well, it's crazier than it's ever been, Ellen. I'm like, no, it's always been pretty crazy. But I will have to say that I know time flies, especially when you're our age, right? But like, it wasn't that long ago that 9/11 occurred.
Yeah.
And everybody in America blamed Muslims for it. Whether or not it's accurate, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, New York elects a Muslim to be their mayor. Like, how did that happen that quickly? Like,
there was also this Barack Hussein Obama who came before the New York, who's probably not the biggest fan of the Constitution of the United States or the Declaration of Independence. So
right, but
there's that one little data point, you know?
Right. But could you imagine like telling somebody in New York, I don't know, in October in 2001, that you're going to elect a Muslim mayor? Like, can you even wrap your head around that? Like, how quickly we forget, you know? And I'm not blaming the Muslims at all. I don't really even know anything about them, to be honest. I don't. But
well, again, religion,
yeah,
you know, is again, it's all
religion,
about. If we're supposed to be united, but we have 47,000 different denominations of Christianity, then it's kind of hard to unite when everybody's in their own little different 501c group.
Yeah.
It's really
paid to be there.
Yeah. You can have 17 churches in a square mile and they don't talk to each other because you go to the wrong group. Our church is better than you. Come on.
Jeez.
Just stop it. You know?
Sounds like judgment to me. I don't know. Sounds that way.
It does.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, brother, let's do this. Let's give
what do you got?
Your very best Allen wisdom, eyes, optics, set some expectations, give people some hope, and give people maybe even some semblance of a timeline so that you can help. You know, the thing that burns people out more than anything is setting these false dates, and the dates come and pass, and then they go, oh, that's it, it's never going to happen. And they lose hope. And if you lose hope, your faith weakens and everything weakens. So give us some sage wisdom and some expectations about the 250th anniversary year we're about to all go through.
First of all, I think it's going to be an economic boom. I really do. I don't see any way that these doomsdayers and these black swan people keep telling me it's going to crash and everything's going down the toilet. There's too much demand for electricity, too much demand for AI. When you have that kind of demand, you have a market. Like, you have a big market. And to create that much electricity, it takes a lot of people and a lot of jobs and a lot of effort. Okay. Even if we went the Tesla angle, which I hope we do, right? Yeah. I think this coming year is going to be an economic boom. I think it's going to rise all ships. Crypto is a massive piece of this. It's not just the only piece. And that was 2 or 3, 5 years ago, I would have said, hey, crypto is the most important thing in the world. It's really important to get honest money. Don't get me wrong. And we've discussed that all night. But what I'm saying is this combination of the exposure, the honesty that I really believe AI is going to bring, and the corruption and the weeding out of a lot of the corruption through just simple examples of this data does not support those $10 billion going to those daycare. I'm sorry, it just doesn't add up. Okay, we don't need a committee. We don't need a Doge committee.
We just need exposure.
Exactly. Shine some light on these dark areas. And then if we can get an honest treasury dollar, I know it's a big if. We get some honesty about taxation. I know it's another big if. But we do have 3 more years of somebody at least trying to sail the ship in that direction. Okay. Whether or not you approve of the man or whatever it might be, he's trying to sail the ship in that direction and weed out the dishonesty in some way, or what he thinks is dishonest, whether or not you believe it is or not. All of that adds up to, and the more printing of money. Now, the printing of money is not necessarily a problem. And that's kind of a long answer, but I have a long answer for that. And one of the things I want everybody to remember, they've been able to print this kind of money without us just going into Weimar, only because there's so much technology and everything is deflationary. That's the only way you can print that kind of money that they've done since 2020, right? So I want everybody to wrap your head around this concept that you may or may not have ever heard before. I deal with some bankers and some systems right now that I find are pretty incredible. Their returns are incredible. Some of these life insurance companies, some of the stuff that I'm messing around with now, their returns monthly are off the charts, okay? Annual returns of 60 to 100% on your money, which is kind of crazy for most people to understand. But when you look back at most of these institutions that I'm dealing with now are 100 to 200 years old. There's a little thing called compounding interest. That compounding interest has been going on for hundreds, plural, hundreds of years. I don't care if it was $100,000 200 years ago. Do you understand what compounding interest uninterrupted does 200 years later? So all those hundreds, if not thousands of banks are running on margins that are absolutely ridiculous to your mind. That's an exposure that you don't have. You're still playing in the debt slave market.
Scarcity world.
Scarcity world that they've got you enslaved in. But when the big bubble, and when you get to play with the big boys, in which I've cracked the big boy bubble, and once you get to play with those guys, you understand this is going to sound absurd to a lot of people that believe in honest money. There's not enough digits out there in the world right now. There just isn't. There's no, if you look at the quadrillions of dollars that is earning interest on a daily basis, compounding daily, what are we looking at? The only problem we have is we've been serfs too long. We've been told this too long. You have to stop seeing scarcity. You have to stop looking at your paycheck and saying, that's all I'm worth. You have to stop settling for what's been given to you. You have to go take what's yours. And you need to listen to people like this fine man right here and many other great men. And you can tell who they are because you can see it and you can hear it. It resonates with you. They're doing something about your future. They're not just making themselves popular or getting clicks or any of those things. They are absolutely on your side, because when all our souls and all our energy rises, we live in a far more superior world, because you were born owning this planet. You don't have to beg for their permission to have a slice of it. As big a slice as you want to dream can be yours. And that's why I'm excited about where we're going. I have cracked a lot of codes, and I'm going to share some of them at my show, by the way, that you're going to be at. But I've cracked a lot of codes over the years, and some of these things are so beneficial to the common everyday man, and it's just education. And that's why you and I do what we do, Rob. That's why I'm excited about 26.
Amen, brother. You know what? And everyone that cares about anyone else in this world truly will do their best to leave this place better when we're gone. Because I love the old saying down south, you're never going to see a hearse carrying a U-Haul.
Nope.
You're not going to take anything with you. So why wouldn't we leave this place a better place? It's more free. It's more abundant. The quantum physics, the absolute profound brilliance of the teachings in the law book talk about, if you get it right, if you can unlock your identity and your purpose, your cup is going to overflow 30, 70, 100 fold. Fold is a term that's exponential
Yes.
in its origin. Doesn't mean 30x. You know, you got 1,000, you're going to get 100,000. No, it means double and double and double and double and double. There is such abundance in this world because it was created by an infinite creator. But if we're
Right.
lost and blind or ignorant or egotistical or consumed by our own brilliance, when we begin to worship ourselves, can you imagine a coffee cup worshiping itself? Something had to make this cup.
Yeah.
Somebody had to make me.
That's
and for
right.
me to
All
worship
of us.
me is for this coffee cup to think like its shit doesn't stink.
Right.
It had to be made and I had to be made. So why don't we figure out what the owner's manual says? Why don't we try to be a little bit more gracious and figure out, is there a chance we've been lied to since the doctor slapped us on the ass?
Yeah.
And then if there is, the great awakening is really about the great forgetting, the great detoxing,
Yeah.
the great letting go, so that we can free ourselves to fly like eagles. You know, but you can't fly like an eagle when you're weighted down with this whole monkey suit of bullshit and weights and fees and taxes and regulations and stupidity. It's really hard to fly if you don't know that you can fly.
Yeah. Well said. We're only intelligence, financial intelligence away from success. And their exposure. Their exposure of the control is pretty obvious. They're in a mad scramble. I don't know. The bankers are in a mad scramble about what they're going to do about long term with this crypto thing.
Yeah. Well, Alan, I think they should. Well, they should only be concerned in that they're going to have to change and find something productive to do. I mean, at the end of the day, the two biggest hills that I think Trump would love to just finish out before he leaves is to get rid of the Fed and their collection agency, the IRS. Those are the two. I mean, they're hand in glove. One's the bodyguard and the one's or the collection agency to the king. And so when we can get rid of those intermediaries, then they can get rid of the static on the radio station. We can find the music and we can harmonize and we can get on the right frequency and we can dance.
Yeah.
Okay. But they spend all their business model is to keep the channel fragmented and staticky and people not tuned in. And they spend look, when DLT kicks in and crypto kicks in and XRP kicks in and 80% of the revenue goes away, 80% of the profit of these bankers, they're going to lose 80% of their punch. They're going to lose 80% of their employees. They're going to lose 80% of their need for corporate real estate space. And they're going to be involved in stealing 80% less from us and everything that we do.
Yeah.
So the CPAs are going to have to find a new job.
That's right.
Programmers are going to have to find a new job.
And by the way, I have those tools for everybody.
Right. And then the thing is, it's only fearful if you don't understand that you have access to infinite creativity.
Yeah.
So what? We got to start over. How many people lost their career, their industry? How many people worked at Kodak? It's not there anymore. Worked at Blockbuster? It's not there anymore. How many people, sold horses and buggies and all of a sudden the car came along? I mean, life changes. We creators create and innovate.
That's right. And you've been sold a big fat lie, as all of us know. And over the next years, I plan on helping you with that lie. I solved the puzzle for myself, and I plan on helping a lot of people with that.
Tell people more specifics, Alan. I know for your audience, they probably have. For mine, they may or may not know. But tell us more about the event at the end of January down in beautiful Florida.
At the end of January, January 29, 30, and 31, I am having a show with this fine man right here, a few other channels, YouTube channels, XRP channels mostly. I'm going to be doing a 3-day event. First day is a charity golf tournament. The second day is an all-day event at a building, very private, very exclusive, us only, all day long together as a family and a community. Following day is out at a park, to where all the questions that you couldn't ask Rob and Alan the day before, you get to ask us the next day out at a park. And we'll have a link down below for all of that. What I plan on sharing at that show is going to be something that you haven't heard anywhere else. And if you have heard it, you might have heard maybe one thing or two things. Maybe you've heard about it, but you won't have been given the instruction book. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to spend the next year, maybe 2 years of my life educating people to what I know about how you fix a lot of your financial freedom. There's been a lot of people who talk about the problem. There's a lot of people that talk about the issues. There's a lot of people that say, just buy this coin and just hang on to it the rest of your days until it makes you a bazillionaire, and then your life's good. Well, what I found was I was doing that for the last 5 years, and I was somewhat hypocritical. I was like, well, wait a minute. I'm putting my life on hold until the day of the rainbow or the lottery ticket, which is a great thing. Don't get me wrong. We have hope, and that's a beautiful thing. And we know what's behind this, the energy and the family behind it all. So the success will come to you. But I said, how do I get passive income to people? How do I get liquidity into their pockets every month? That was my mission. And I have a show on Thursday nights called Trust Your Exit Plan. And it's a show about how to make monthly income, how to get residual income. And it's not about DeFi. I love DeFi, don't get me wrong. DeFi is going to be a great product going forward. It's so complicated that most of us just can't spend the screen time and the rest of it. So these are easy solutions that I don't care if you're grandma or grandpa, you're going to be able to understand what I'm up to. And you're going to say to yourself, I walked out of that building and I heard 4 different guest speakers and Alan tell me that my life financially can be a better life than what I ever dreamed it could be. And I've been to shows. That's what I do. I go to shows and I talk to people, and that's all I do right now. It's kind of what my job in life is. And every time I go to these things, it really frustrates me because nobody has any answers. Everybody just keeps asking about the same question. When rainbow, when Lambo, when Lambo. And I can't find anybody who says to me, hey, you know what? I got an answer. I got a solution. Everybody at these shows says, Alan, well, if you come up with $1 million and you put it in, and I got this new coin I'm creating, we could blow this thing up, but it's a rug pull. It's another rug pull, one after another. It might be a brilliant idea. It might be a great concept, and mankind might one day need that. But the thing of it is just rug pull after rug pull, or it's a hurry up and wait. I got this big giant bag and I can't move and live my life. All of that is my goal, to resolve all of those issues for all of our community. That's what I plan on sharing with everybody. If you walk out of that building and you say, well, I knew all that, I don't know, it's kind of a waste of my day and my time, I'll be blown away, because I can't find anybody else talking about what I know about what I have to share with you guys. And it's going to be a community starting that day, that
For life.
For life, from that day forward. I will tell you, and I'm not trying to just sell tickets here, there's going to be benefits about being in the building that I can't share on YouTube after that. I'm just going to put it to you like that. I just can't. Okay, I won't. My lovely wife Elizabeth's an attorney, and there's legal reasons why I can't do stuff. But in person, I can get you to sign a disclaimer saying, yeah, okay, this and this and that. We can do a lot of that stuff, and I can be a lot more open and forthright with you. But the channel, and coming back on your show, Rob, and many other channels, I will be able to share a lot of this stuff going forward. And that's really what my whole Look, you got to leave a legacy. You got to leave a mark in this planet, because what is it, a generation or two from now, nobody's going to even know who we are, Rob. So what's your mark? What are we going to do here? How are we working for the kingdom going forward? And helping people out of debt slavery is my new mission. Yeah. Giving you a way to say, hey, wow, I see a way out of this job. I've been at this pension. My pension now can be doubled, possibly. I don't have to just live in a single wide. I could maybe live a little life. Yeah. Very excited about where I'm going with this channel and what I'm doing. And I'm not trying to blow the channel up at all, because I'm really cutting the channel back. I'm thinking about only just broadcasting two days a week now. So.
Well, Alan, what I think my takeaway on what you just said is, it's a recognition that we're kingdom citizens.
Amen.
And if we do not understand that we are kingdom citizens, we will become earthly slaves.
Yes.
And it's one or the other. It's an A or B. It's a binary choice. And we have to intentionally engage with and choose to be a kingdom beneficiary with a kingdom constitution and kingdom laws and principles that we're aware of. If we think that we don't have to ever read any of the laws and principles, we can just jump in a 747 and start flying it, and we never went to flight school, we didn't read it, we don't know anything about aerodynamics or lift, thrust, weight, and drag, or meteorology, and how to talk on the radio, or how to start an engine, or what happens. You can't fly a jet unless you understand the systems and the processes and the laws and the principles. How do we think we can fly 80 years on this planet and just take some trust me bro guy's word for it, or girl's word for it, and never do the work ourselves? You can't fly an airplane, and that's a lot easier than, in many respects, than understanding how to cut through the deceptions that are coming at us 24/7.
Yes.
How do we become Neo in the Matrix, where we can? And it's not that everything else was slowing down; it's that his spirit was quickening. He could see the bullets. He could see the government man. He could see the girl and the lady in the red dress. He could see everything going on, because he had a quickened Christ consciousness and spirit, because we are spiritual electrical beings. We're not 200-pound bags of flesh.
Nope.
That's just our mobility device. We're not the hardware, we're the software in the spirit. And if we don't study software sciences, we're going to get our asses kicked.
Yep.
Because the other side studies it. The other side studies it so well that they know exactly how to scramble the egg. They know how to put the chemicals in your body. They know how to get you to chase after the shiny objects. If you're a guy, they know how to get you to prioritize the gold, the girls, and the glory. And they dangle all those shiny objects out there for you. And if you start speaking too loudly or clearly, Mr. John F. Kennedy, we're going to take you out, Mr. Trump.
That's right.
Mr. McKinley, Mr. Lincoln, whoever you might happen to be, we're going to just need you to go away, because you're waking up too many people, and we can't have that.
Nope. Can't have it. Can't win with it. Yeah.
Well, let me tell your audience and mine one thing about my passion project for 2026, if you will, and that is Fruition Productions has done a second blockbuster movie they're about to come out called Money Disrupted. And it includes the star of the show, Mr. G. Edward Griffin, as the man that everyone knows, reveres, and respects for his lifetime achievement. He's 94 or 95 years old now. Yeah. And there'll be folks like Robert Kiyosaki and Lynette Zhang and Linda P. Jones and yours truly will be in it as well.
Nice.
Jay Claver will be in it. Coach JV will be in it. Andy Scheckman will be in it. So we're going to have people from all walks of life that have studied monetary systems, that love gold, that love decentralized ledger technology. Some will love Bitcoin. Some will love XRPL. The gentleman that started Robinhood will be on it. The CEO of Uphold will be on it. But why do I bring this up? This is a I believe a cult classic type movie that will be in the public domain for the next 100 years, where people will begin business schools, and I hope high schools and home student schools, home learning networks will go to school on what happened and how the Federal Reserve took over control of planet Earth, what honest money is and what fiat money is, what slavery is and what deception is, and what money is really supposed to be as an honest tool. That's all money is. It's supposed to be a tool. They've turned it into something to worship and give our lives over to so we can have the money to buy the things to make us happy. And things don't make us happy. Okay?
Nope.
But starting, I believe, in January, there's going to be a 12-city premiere tour of this movie, Money Disrupted, starting in Washington and going through California and Arizona and Texas and Georgia and Florida and Washington, D.C. and the Northeast. And I'm planning to go to all 12 cities. I would love to meet all of you there whenever these debut premiere cities come out. If we can get this type of movie into the hands of school systems, into business schools, into
Love that.
where people can become more educated on what 40% of the law book taught us to be wary of and understand what money's supposed to be and what it's not supposed to be, and understand how this thing got imposed upon us and how it's being removed from us.
Yeah.
To me, Alan, I would love as many people to come. They can go to the website and learn about this movie. They can go to a city where it's going to be debuted. They can buy this as a gift. They can buy 10 tickets and give it away to their friends, give it away to their kids and grandkids and neighbors, give it away to their churches. But
are tickets on sale, Rob?
I believe they are. If you go, let me make sure that I've got the right website address here. Hold on just one second. I'm going to share it with everybody. It's fruitionfilms.com. I'm sorry. It's Fruition Production. And I'm going to share the link here on the screen for everyone. And yes, you can get tickets to Money Disrupted. And you can also get tickets to their prior movie called Rigged from the Start about ETHgate and how the whole cabal system came after XRP and Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse and Stu and Chris Larson, and suing them perfectly to try to shut down the system that they knew was going to take out the banking cartel.
Right.
So, if you will go to the website,
I actually went to the premiere in Los Angeles for that movie.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
And so
great, by the way.
I would love to meet everyone there. I put the website up. It's fruitionproductions.com. You can go ahead and pre-order. But you talk about a stocking stuffer, a birthday present, a gift, just an I love you present to send this out. I believe before it's all said and done, there are going to be billions of views of this movie. Because when people understand what money is and isn't, and what it's supposed to do as a tool versus it being a weapon, and it being something that is a free, honest representation of humans just exchanging energy between one another. That's what it's supposed to be. And they converted it and perverted it into a method of control and theft and slavery. They turned what was supposed to be a tool of free energy exchange into handcuffs. And if the average person can't understand what I just said, we need more people watching this movie.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what premieres you're going to go to, but let me know what those are. You're going to All Wealth.
I will, as soon as Chris and Maya get the dates published and they get the times and locations. I mean, it's just going to be a flight every night from one city to the next, to the next, to the next.
Oh, wow.
A debut at night and a flight in the morning to get to the next debut. So I don't even know there's going to be a day between them. I think it's just going to be 12 days of flying.
Wow. That's great. That's kind of how they did it last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd like, are you going to have one in Atlanta or what?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Okay.
There'll be one in Atlanta. There'll be one in Seattle. There'll be one in LA.
Seattle.
Scottsdale. I believe there'll be one in either Dallas or Houston or both. There'll be one in Atlanta, Miami, I believe Boston and Washington, D.C., maybe even New York City. I'm not sure. But and I'm not speaking, please don't, this will all become obvious to anyone that wants to find out more about this. But most importantly, it's going to be, you don't have to travel to the premiere in order to have access to this, and the wisdom of, they've done such a masterful job collecting interviews and insights from people that understand what money is supposed to be and what honest money is. And if we can't connect the dots, what dishonest money does to our earth, then we're missing the whole plot.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, I will tell you that if you can get to one of these premieres, you should go, because it's all your people.
Right.
It's so
you'll make friendships for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's probably 20 people that I met at that premiere that didn't even know I had a channel. They're like, wow, I didn't even know you're into XRP. Like, who are you? How do I get your info? So it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It was, after I went to that one, I was like, well, where's the other ones? And it was the last one.
Let's do this real quick. I want to do just something for fun, if you don't mind.
Sure. What do you got?
Let's do this.
This whole thing's for fun.
Yeah, man. Here's a little trailer. Okay, just a teaser. Let's watch it real quick. It's only 2.5 minutes, I think. So.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see if I can make this happen. I have to be smarter than the keypad here.
StreamYard's pretty
intuitive.
It is pretty good stuff.
You will find the heart of America here.
Oops.
The decline of American manufacturing jobs is a serious concern, as many companies choose to move their operations overseas.
How did this dramatic income inequality happen on such a wide scale?
I have directed Secretary Connolly to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets.
The U.S. came off the gold standard August 15th, 1971, when Nixon closed the gold window. Since then, we've had floating exchange rates with the rest of the world.
The majority of Americans don't make enough money to cover some of the basic costs of living.
Every day is a struggle for me. I still have to worry about where my next meal is coming from.
Even eggs has gone up to $5 or $6 per day.
It all began in November of 1910. The Federal Reserve System was conceived. But all these years, we've had something which most people have thought was a government operation of some kind or another.
It's not. What is it? It's a cartel.
There's been massive money creation in the U.S. When they create a lot of money, that devalues our buying power. And this has gone on to such an extent that 40% of all the money that's in existence in the U.S. dollar was now created since the pandemic.
Here you go, guys. Let's play central bank, because it's even easier than what I'm showing you. Originally, when we were on a gold standard, gold and silver were actually the money.
The only way we get out of the rat race of inflation and endless money printing and debt slavery is to return to sound money principles.
Bitcoin's now 16 years old. It's never been hacked. It's an extraordinary invention.
This is just the beginning. A new era of financial freedom where individuals can control their own money.
As you know, I was a skeptic. Yes! I believe Bitcoin is legitimate.
I'm a believer in stablecoin, a believer in blockchain.
I think crypto trading is going to become the infrastructure layer behind real world assets.
We have to go back to sound money. We have to get our balance sheet in order. We have to stop irresponsibly spending money.
There's so many innovative technologies coming in, cryptocurrency, AI technology. What you should be doing is studying how to become an investor in those types of markets and those assets.
When I was in Zimbabwe, it collapsed. And these young kids come up with their AK-47s. And I said, well, taking your money. So when this collapsed, law and order collapsed. It's coming to America.
The rising cost of food is driving an affordability crisis.
Crime on the rise.
A rise in crime.
We have a pandemic of lawlessness.
And the Fed.
And the Fed. We want to end the Fed.
And the Fed, let's go.
And the Fed. End the Fed.
What do you think?
Love it. Man, I love it. The production's off the charts.
They did a great job. They did a really great job. And that's just a teaser of an hour and a half or hour and 20 minutes, however long the movie's going to be. But if we could get this into the heads and the hearts and the minds of grandmas, dads, moms, college kids, high school kids, I mean, they get it. They're smart. You've seen what a 3-year-old can do when you give them an iPad. I mean, they can figure it out on their own, right? I mean, you teach people what money's supposed to be, they'll immediately forever know what it's not supposed to be.
No, it's so true. Yeah. People understand the value of things. They do at a very young age. They don't understand the system, and they're not taught the system for obvious. Isn't it odd that we don't teach relationships and money? Funny, those two things. They're trying to keep us not
Separated.
understanding each other with our money and our relationship with each other. Odd that. Yeah.
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 Alan, it has done nothing but gone from 700 or 800 people to 3,615 people since you joined us. So I'm going to give you all the credit, brother. It is what a great way to end 2025 and optimistically look forward to 2026. And if people don't understand that the man that has gone through so much since 2015, he and his wife are about to host for 12 months dignitaries and visitors and kings and queens and presidents from 195 countries to come and see the greatness of America, what we're really about, what our software DNA was that founded this nation. The covenant contract with God is written in this thing called the Declaration of Independence. And we're going back to that. We're going to showcase what America's truly supposed to be all about, not the Federal Reserve version of America, but our founding fathers' version of America. And if we don't think that this man is going to want this place to look as cool and shiny and vibrant and hopping as possible, you know nothing about the man's standards.
No.
It's going to be a big year of nothing but boom after boom after boom. And if you're awake and you're aware, you won't be scared at all. And if you're arrogant and egotistical and fearful and you got your butt on your shoulder and you think you're going to go the next 12 months saying orange man's bad and I hate white people and Republicans or whatever, you're going to miss the entire most epic year possibly in the history of the United States of America.
Well said, sir. It's finally time again to be proud of your country. And we grew up that way as kids, and then you sort of lose the plot after a while because there's just so many crazy opinions and ideas that they spent money on that you just don't resonate with or you don't believe in it. And then when somebody comes along that wants to instill pride in your neighborhoods and your cities and your states and your country again, I think we can all get behind that. And I know we will. And the thing about whether or not you like the man again doesn't really matter. Do you like your country? Do you like your neighbor? Don't we all pretty much want all the same thing for our kids? I don't care what the software program that you believe is wrong with the other software program. Bottom line is, you all want the same thing, prosperity, and it's coming, by the way. I think it's so comical, Rob, that what was it, 2 weeks ago, all the numbers came out, and they were a point higher than everybody in Wall Street and everybody in banking said it was going to be.
And a point lower on inflation.
On a point lower, a point higher than one end. GDP was up, and everybody and their brother was telling us how bad this whole thing was going to go.
Right.
And by the way, those numbers, I really think, were the tip of the iceberg where we're headed. This next year, prosperity is coming to you. All you have to do is look for it, resonate with it, have the energy for it, and know that you deserve it. It's yours. And there is no scarcity.
Right.
It's one of the things that I really struggle with crypto sometimes is there's only so many coins, but and gold and silver. That is kind of an issue for me. It's on a principle level at times. It's like, well, we've created a false scarcity in some of this stuff, but there is no scarcity on this universe. There just isn't.
Well,
created that way.
If people understood that a drop, I mean, let a drop be $100. What does that make a single token worth? You know,
right?
I mean, there's what's the number? How many digits past zero is in a drop? Is there 1 million drops in a token, or I don't know what the scale numbers are. I forgot.
It's 8, right? 8 past the decimal.
It's 8 past the decimal, but that doesn't mean there's only one token is not 1/8 of a token, right? The drop. How many drops are in one token?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right. It's a lot. It's thousands. So I do believe we'll be able to get to a point where if we wanted to, we could, top off our tank of gas for a 0.00003 token.
Wow.
Right. You know what I mean? When you start thinking of it in that way, because at the end of the day, if quadrillions of dollars are traversing over the XRP ledger and traversing in the trunk of an XRP token, then whatever that 3, 5, 10 quadrillion dollars, the value of the XRP token is going to be some derivative value of that overall top line value. So because the opportunity cost of not having this magic bridge token that can move $1 trillion back and forth over the pond every day is unthinkable. So there's almost not a price that these bankers won't pay at some point to have that token, right? So
just on-demand liquidity is like, how do you
right?
That's all they've ever really. Well, that's what they've always done, but they created that from the top down instead of it being neutral now. Everybody can use it.
Bottom up and neutral. And here's the other thing, Alan, is that everything in this world was meant to be decentralized to the bottom down. It's meant to circulate. It's meant to move. It's meant to be harmonizing and resonating until these people came along, these little beavers, and they learned how to dam things up and keep things in a little thing. And then everything downstream of the dam suffers with scarcity, lack of water, lack of liquidity. The further away you get from the dammed up dam, the harder it is to grow crops, have a farm, drink water, be healthy, have life. Water is life. So how about we knock off the dammers, and let liquidity flow to every square foot there's a human life, and let it flow freely. So that's what
bank accounts.
That's what DLT does. We're going from a centralized eye of the pyramid top-down system to a wallet-based bottom-up liquidity system. We're going from accounts to wallets.
Gee, what a concept. I have it under pretty good authority too, by the way, that Mr. Trump is creating his own wallet. So look forward to that coming out one day soon. Actually, know one of the people working on the project. I was like, give me a time frame. I'm like, I can't do that. All right. I'll take your word for it.
I love it.
He's been accurate in the past, so yeah, it's coming. I have no idea what the wallet, which coin's the wallet. Don't even ask. Don't PM me. I have no idea. They don't know either. Everyone's like, what coins is it going to accept? It hasn't been created yet.
What I'm looking forward to is how much unfathomable wealth and patents and rare earth minerals and resources under our feet that are going to be housed in this sovereign wealth fund and pay dividends to the shareholders of America called citizens.
Just picture this. Most citizens work till, May, just to pay their taxes. What if all of that finance was gone into, I don't know, buying a new car or a new whatever fancies you to build an economy? Do you have that right there is 40% to your economy. Hello? It's crazy. When you understand what they've taken from us, and then when you put it back in, it's magical. And it perpetuates. It's not just, hey, it's a one-time deal. No, every time that the commerce gets created, it affects everybody down the line. That's velocity of money. I don't get into that, but the velocity of money is the key that needs to keep moving. That's what ODL does. It's instant liquidity, but it's constant velocity. The reason why this neighborhood
XRP can go on 30 sorties a day, go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back. It's up 3 to 5 second settlement, and it's parked. The engine's running. It's ready to take another trip.
That's it. And the reason why this community is prosperous and this one isn't is simply velocity of money. That's it. That's
your friend Felix has helped us out, and I double checked him on ChatGPT, but there are 1 million drops per XRP. So you can multiply 1 million times 100 billion. We ain't got no scarcity.
No, there's no scarcity. No. That world. Yeah. And let me
drops for 1 billion tokens.
Let me times that by how many XRP coins I have. Boy. That's too big a number I can even think of.
Yeah. Thank you, Felix. Appreciate that.
Felix,
high five to you over the interwebs.
Yeah. Well, Rob, I think I need to get out of here. It's getting late where you're at.
It is a little bit late. I'm going to go see my bride. We are hitting the 3-hour mark, but hopefully this conversation gets shared around a little bit. People will be able to read between the lines and figure out some inferences and some beliefs and some common sense. And I'm sure we be called a name or two by some folks, but that's all right. If we're not being called a name, we're not doing it right.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm impossible to insult. Good luck. Only my father can do that to me. So he doesn't plan on it anytime soon. So,
well, Alan, thank you, brother. I can't think of a better way to end 2025 and get 2026 off on the right foot, the right mindset. And my whole family's jumping in the car about 9 o'clock in the morning. We're driving down to Nollins to watch Georgia play Ole Miss tomorrow.
Nice.
Sugar Bowl.
So go Dogs.
Go Dogs. That's exactly right. Go Dogs. And
yep.
We'll be coming back the next day, but it's going to be a great year.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, no, it is fantastic year. I'm really excited to share it with everybody. And if you guys are up for it, come see Rob and I in Fort Lauderdale, the 29, 30, and 31st. If you can only just come one day, the 30th, and we'll put that in the show links.
And go to your YouTube channel. You can find information there about it. I think Felix told us that. So
it's actually just it's just an email address. Okay. And when you send your email to that, it'll prompt all the information back to you.
There it is on the screen right there. The email XRP Crypto Meetup 2026.
There you go. And the reason why I did it this way is because ticket agencies wanted to charge everybody $60. And I thought, excuse me? No, we're not doing that. So you don't have to pay any tax or any fees or anything like that. It's a ticket price. That's it. Okay. No middleman. We're crypto people. You're insulting me with this
Trust me,
middleman.
I had to go through Ticketmaster to get our stupid tickets for the football game, and the fee is it's gross.
Yeah,
it's just
very,
gross.
yeah, and listen to the punch. Listen to what this ticket. By the way, everybody uses this ticket. You know what they try to tell me, Rob? I could not get any of the purchase ticket price until 3 days after the event had taken place. Like I was supposed to upfront the whole thing. I mean, I'm going to be out of pocket with the show anyway, but I don't really care because it's my people. But it's like, it's comical. They were like, you're going to hold $100,000 or something of my money for that long, and I can't spend any of it to pay for the food or the chairs or anything. Like, what kind of criminal organization are you? So that's when we said, let's just, when you prompt that email right there, your email will be sent back information that you guys, location, dates, times, all the rest of it. And by the way, these are your people. The people at that show are your people.
Yeah.
They are incredible folks. And the show that we're going to put on for you is going to be amazing. It's not going to be a bunch of blowhards up there telling you how great they are. And that's not how I roll. So, and most of the time is going to be nobody on stage, because what we share with each other in the crowd is so important at these events. There's a best ball tournament the day before if you play golf. If you don't play golf, come see me Friday. And then Saturday is 4 food trucks out at a park as part of the ticket price. You don't pay for the food truck, and you get to sample all 4 food trucks. And it's just going to be a tent and a bunch of people out there at the park. Bring your kids, your family. Even if they didn't buy a ticket to the show, bring them. I don't care. Like,
and they don't have to own crypto either. They can just show up.
That's right. We'll convert them.
And folks, if you've never met Alan before, if you're on my channel, if Alan says it, it's true.
You can count on it.
Right.
Yeah. Same with this man. Oh, Rob, you and I spoke, I don't know, 6 or 8 hours when I was at your house before we decided to shoot a show. It's a pleasure always, sir, to meet somebody that cares enough about his community to do all the hard work that you do. And I appreciate, and everybody in this chat right now appreciates you for everything you do for this community. Thank you, brother.
Ditto, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be. I'll be in the foxhole with you till I'm take my last breath, brother. So thank you for being you.
All right. You as well. That's and there's so many of us. We're all the same. Isn't it odd when we meet these people in person? You're just like, oh my God, this is like my favorite person I've met yet. And then the next one's your favorite. And the next one, it's like, we're all so similar. It's great. Love it.
Well, brother, love you. Tell your beautiful bride I said hello, and your son as well. And I can't wait to see y'all down in West Palm Beach here in
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale in less than 30 days.
Love it. Oh man, I can't wait. We're gonna have so much fun. All right, Rob, take care of yourself, and to all your listeners, it was a pleasure being with you guys tonight.
Same to yours as well.
All right.
Talk soon.
Night.
Night.